I feel like the light's gonna be an issue, but we're gonna make that work. Hello, walls. What's up? I hope you're good. So yes, there is a little bit of a change because I don't wear makeup, I don't have anything as usual, whatever, in order to film a proper video, you know, my regular setup. I will explain everything in another video, but here we are about to talk about all the books I read in February. Yes, February. Oh my gosh, I'm already February, right? Yes. So in February, if I'm right, I've read 12 books. I feel like it is a really good number of books, but knowing that I've read like 10 in the first week of February and then only 2 and I'm in the middle of another one, it's not that great, like on a month long kind of thing, but I'm okay with it because it wasn't the easiest month ever, emotionally, physically, psychologically, whatever. I don't even know if you can see me properly. You have a lot of reflection on my glasses and it's not bright enough. It is bright enough. First, I want to start with the book that I got by the author, by Nathalie Laine. So she sent me a copy of her book that's coming out actually today on March 1st, and this is Alessia in Atlantis, the Forbidden Vial. So obviously it is a mid-grade fantasy, so we're gonna follow the main character who has always feel like she didn't quite belong where she was. She had feelings, like she was feeling what others were feeling. She felt like a weirdo, out of place, with everyone making fun of her. And something's gonna happen and she's gonna discover that there is more than our world. And I really love that. So it's not a portal fantasy because you know I love portal fantasy, but the fact that you discover that there is more to the world you know, it's as magical, almost as magical as a portal fantasy. So she's gonna go to a boarding school because her mom died and she doesn't have a father, she doesn't know a father, she doesn't know if he's dead or not. Her mom never talked about him. You know, she's at that boarding school and she is apparently where her mother was from, and she wants to go find out about who she was, and maybe by discovering who her mother really was, she will know a bit more about her father. So I really loved that journey kind of thing, and she's very curious. I love her character. She loves adventures. She's not easily scared. She's a bit of a weirdo because different from the other people, but being a weirdo is not a bad thing. And obviously, as the title says, it's gonna be about Atlantis. She's gonna discover that her father might be from there, and she's gonna be attracted by the water because of something she heard, and she's gonna end up under the water. And I really loved how sometimes it was tense because there was danger, and I love the characters, I love the magic system, I loved every single tiny thing that we discovered in that book. The reason why I didn't give it 5 stars is because page after page, on every single page, I discovered something new, a new object, a new magic, a new secret or whatever. So I never felt comfortable. Like I wasn't, oh, I know the world, I know what's gonna happen, so I can lay back and read it and really enjoy it. I enjoyed everything about it, but I never felt like comfortable, like I was in a world I knew and I could be like expecting things or whatever. So that's the only thing that was like, I don't know, not good. That's not what I mean. But I wanted to feel comfortable knowing the world, and it never happened. It was constantly like something new was coming up all the time, which might be what you're looking for because you don't want to get bored and always want to get surprised. But I really enjoyed it. I love the friendship, I love the writing style. It was really easy to read, really easy to go through, so I will highly recommend it. The chapters were quite short, so it's easy to be like, okay, one more chapter. So I read it in 2 days, I believe, or maybe in 1 day. I'm not sure. I believe it was in 2 days, but I will definitely recommend it if you're looking for something with adventure, tension, danger, secrets, lies, and, you know, friendship. Thank you to the author for contacting me and sending me the book and the ebook. I really had a great time reading it, and I cannot wait to see what you're coming with after this one. And yeah, well, it's coming out today, so grab it. I hope you don't mind me being so cozy. Then I'm gonna talk about the book I read for the Howling pack, so Remote Control, which is an adult sci-fi. I gave it 3 stars, so it's very short. And you know, sometimes when stories are super short, you'll be like, okay, I didn't get enough, I wanted more, etc. Well, it happened with this one, but at the same time, it's not because it was short, because something was missing for me, because the We Were Children series are super short books, like novellas, like tiny, less than 200 pages for most of them. And I never felt like I needed more. Like, I wanted more, but I didn't need more in order to love the story. Here I had a bit of an issue with the length of the book, but also what was happening and the way it was told. So you're gonna follow the main character who one day is gonna find something in her family tree, and that's gonna be the beginning of everything, because people are going to call her the adopted daughter of the Angel of Death, because she brings death, and because I'm not gonna say that. No, but what I really loved about the story is that she had a fox companion, but also, like, she started the story at her family house, then she moved from place to place, and I cannot say that either. Well, I loved her path. I love how she told us everything. I love what she shared with us. I loved the ending with the answers to my questions and more. I was just a bit bored and I needed more to actually love her. Like, I'm talking super slow because I don't know how to explain how I felt about that book. I'm super glad that I actually read it. I feel like I should give the author another try because the writing style was on top. I really enjoyed the storytelling. I just didn't enjoy the execution of it and the main characters in its globality. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, let me know if you were one of the wolves who read it with us. If not, there is another book coming now in March, and this is the Wild Starlight, so I will link the Discord down below. And it is a YA power fantasy, so I hope we're all gonna enjoy that one. Actually, except for that book that I gave 3 stars to, they were all 4 stars or 5 stars. So I had a really good month. I feel like all the books I'm gonna talk about, except one, are the books I've read for the Polarthon. So if you wanna more details about the book, I will link my vlog down below. But I'm gonna go like super fast through them, so you still have my overall opinion on them. And apparently I did Polarthon in a weird way. I say Polarthon, you should say Polarthon. But yeah, you know, when English is not your first language, you're gonna have to deal with weird accents. I gave Frostfire 4 stars. I'm not gonna say they're all power fantasy basically, but here you have the main character who wants to bond with the mountain. In order to do that, they have to be picked by some people and to pass some tests, etc. When they bond with that piece of the mountain, they get some kind of power. And this book was very magical because the world building, like the setting where it was happening, was alive. Like, the mountain is alive. It's not only about the characters who are obviously alive, but also the mountains, the place where they live, is alive. And that was like quite surprising, but I really loved the tune, and there are some illustrations that I really loved. I had an amazing time with Sabira, right? Yes, Sabira. And you know, it was icy, fantastical. I love the pop fantasy aspect of it, and if you're looking for a book with icy magic for a future readathon or whatever, this one has icy magic, so definitely recommend that one. It was really a nice ride. I enjoyed reading it, and it was quite short, so, and the cover is gorgeous. And apparently you can have 2 types of covers, so the blue one here or the pink one, and apparently it's completely random, so I love that about that. It's like a special edition, but it is not a special edition, so I love it. Skysong, also a power fantasy happening on a glacier, whatever. A bunch of people living with the wildness, with the nature, I mean the wilderness, in the middle of nowhere, in the snow, in a snowy setting, etc. I really enjoy that. So basically you have the main character who is imprisoned in a music box in a castle that's inhabited by the Icy Queen. Do you say inhabited? The Icy Queen, the Ice Queen, lives in that castle, and apparently she wants that girl there because her voice is gonna do something. Her voice has some kind of power, and obviously as a nice queen, she wants that power. She doesn't want anyone to go and stop her from doing what the heck she wants to do, you know what I mean? And one day there is a boy who's gonna get in that castle because he wanted to save his mother or his father. I believe it is his mother, but he's gonna end up saving her instead. And oh my god, this was wild. And I love the bond between the people and the nature, the people and the animals. I felt it was deep enough for me. It was like believable, and it was magical at the same time. I really loved it. Was adventure, there was a bit of danger, and I don't know, I really loved it. It warmed my heart when I was reading it. Hurt, I should say hurt, no, heart hurt. Yeah, and Skysong, I love the title. So yeah, I had a fun time reading it. This one was also a 4-star spy fantasy, but this one was a YA, while the two others were middle grade. And I love that one. First, that cover is everything. But basically what's gonna happen is that you can tell if everything is well or not by looking at the stars. Green means all is well and the goddess is happy. Blue means a snowstorm is on the way. And then there's red. Red is rare. A warning. So I really loved that one, and it was so atmospheric. It took me by surprise. I really did expect to like it, but it was still like a nice surprise. And the characters in them, I felt for them like so hard, and I wanted them to succeed. I wanted them to go on these dangerous adventures and to save their people and to understand a bit more about their world and to get like, I don't know, to feel like they were special and they were doing something for everyone and not for themselves only. And I actually really did enjoy it. And you know, the main character is 17 years old, and last time the light was red was actually when she was born, and there was a plague that killed a lot of people. And apparently that's gonna happen again, and she obviously doesn't want that. She's gonna try to understand why the heck the goddess wants them to die and why a plague, etc. So I really enjoyed it and loved it, and oh my gosh, it was a surprise. Okay, moving on to this one. So this is the companion novel to this one, so not quite a sequel. It's a companion novel, and this one I gave 5 stars to. I'm not gonna say what it is about because it's similar to this one with a twist. And when you understand the link between the two books, you're gonna be like, wow. Even if it's like predictable kind of thing to some, like I found people who found it quite predictable. I wasn't expecting it, so I don't know if it's because I was listening to it only and not really reading it, so I couldn't like catch the tiny details and clues or whatever. But I cried at the end because, you know, there are like tiny bits of songs, and at the end there is like a little like song or poem or whatever, and I don't know if it's because I was so tired, so emotional, so happy, so whatever. I cried, and I'm not sorry for that. I mean, I'm sorry I cried, but I feel good that a book made me feel like crying. It was like a good cry. I was happy, I was like surprised. It was a weird crying session kind of thing because I cried. I found it beautiful. That's how I'm gonna say that. The end wrapped the story beautifully, and yeah, I absolutely love it. And I'm definitely gonna reread the two books, like definitely on my to read again, like reread books, because they're that amazing. So this is another 5 stars. I don't really know how to rate a book that's not really a book. It was like 20 pages long, and it is like a folklore kind of story. So it is a story that is told to kids, etc. So I don't really know how to rate that, but I enjoyed the story. It was a 5 stars. If you like folklore kind of thing, this one is a Norwegian story. I highly suggest you to actually look for it on the internet, on Google, whatever. It is free. You can read the story. Like, it's really like a common folklore kind of thing. It's also available on script, and it will make you understand some retelling that we have in books that we sometimes mix up with Beauty and the Beast retelling. Saying that, moving on to the next book. So this one, Echo North by Joanna Ruth Meyer, is actually the East of the Sun West of the Moon retelling. It is not quite a Beauty and the Beast retelling because those two stories are quite similar, but this one took me by surprise. It has romance in it because, you know, like that's why people mix it up with Beauty and the Beast and etc. So usually it's not for me, but the way it was told, I actually felt, and I was like so in the story. I was like eating the words. I was reading it while listening to it, and I was, oh my gosh, I love it. Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Oh my gosh, no way. And I was so into the book. It's one of my new favorite stories. Yes, it came a little broke, but I don't mind. It's okay. But such a beautiful book. I loved it. It's not a chunker. If you love Beauty and the Beast kind of stories, kind of retellings, I think you're gonna love this one. I feel like it's slower because there is some kind of time fuckery in it. It has a bit of a romance, but adventures, but also how to understand things. And also there is a castle. In order to move from one room to another, you have to ask the door what you want to see on the other side, kind of thing. Like, it's a magical castle. It had everything I want a fairy tale retelling kind of thing to have, and it was beautiful. Love story, highly, but me as a person who doesn't like love stories, I love it a lot. Then a book you probably know I'm going to talk about if you followed me during the Polarthon and everyone else, and also the middle grade monthly book club. A Wolf for a Spell. It has everything I want a book to have. It has Russian folklore, it has a wolf, it has a wintry setting. The writing style was amazing, the execution was amazing, the world building was amazing, the characters were absolutely amazing. Everything was amazing. I freaking loved everything, and the illustrations, oh my gosh, to die for. It was gorgeous, and it has a very big font. I mean, in a few hours you could finish this book, so it was like a really quick read. Basically, you have a brave wolf, a cunning witch, and a rebellious girl. Together they must save the forest before it's too late. And it is a retelling, so yeah, I forgot to say that. It is a retelling of Ivan Ivanovich and the Grey Wolf. So if you've read the original story, you're gonna pick up all the clues here immediately. Even I'm just saying, like, a girl, cunning witch, and a grey wolf, I mean a wolf, whatever. If you know the original story, you're gonna pick up all the clues and the details, and they'll be like, I know where it's from. So yeah, it was absolutely amazing. It was a middle grade. It was absolutely perfect for a middle grade. Everything was great about this book. I loved it so freaking much, and I really hope a lot of people will read it in the future and love it as much as we all did, pretty much. Another retelling I've read is Hunted, so by Megan Spooner. So this is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. I enjoyed this one, but I don't know, I felt like something was missing. I don't know if it was the magical side of it. It has Russian folklore in it, which I was not expecting while reading that Beauty and the Beast retelling. But I feel I was missing a bit of the magic of that retelling, a bit of the danger, a bit of, I don't know, I was a bit bored at some point. I still gave it a 4 stars, but it was almost a 3 stars. But I know a lot of people loved it, so I want to give the author another try and read something else by Megan Spooner. And I feel like it's Sherwood that I want to read next, so we shall see. Ember and the Ice Dragons. I gave that book 4 stars. I was a bit bored at parts reading it, but I love the dragons, I love the main character, I love the friendship and the danger and the adventure on the north, so on the Arctic. Basically, you have the main character who is actually a dragon. She looks like a little girl because the guy who adopted her used some kind of magic on her, because people are just people. Even here around us, people are sometimes whatever, and they just want to kill the dragons because they are some kind of trophy and whatever. You know where I'm getting, reality, blah blah blah. But the thing is that when it gets warm outside, because it's summer, whatever, she is kind of a danger. She is kind of turning into a danger to others. Maybe not to herself, but to others. Because she catch fire and everything around her can catch that fire and be on fire. And her uncle, her adopted uncle, adopted dad, whatever, wants her to go to his sister on the Arctic because it's icy there, it's cold there, so maybe she's gonna feel better there. And she's gonna meet other dragons, she's gonna meet people who's gonna become friends, and she's gonna live adventures she never thought she would, and she will understand a lot more about herself, but a lot more about the world around her as well. And I really loved it, but I was a bit bored at parts, like it wasn't perfect for me, but I still did enjoy this one. It was heartwarming. I would definitely recommend it to a lot of people. If you feel a bit down, this one's gonna bring you a smile. There were some parts that felt super sad because what was happening was sad, but I didn't feel like I would cry or that my heart broke or whatever, because it wasn't described in such a, it's not picturable way, but like a vivid way. Like it wasn't that vivid, but I still really enjoyed it. This one was a 5 stars. It broke my heart. This is the kind of story you're gonna read and be like mad at the character because they're fucking stupid. There is no other word. Like you just like, why did you do that? We knew it would happen. You sick little you know what I mean? Yeah, but this book is actually illustrated and it's just all blue. All blue. It is a power fantasy, and the fact that it is blue and that the font is actually matching the vibes of the power fantasy, you know, icy, snow, etc. I just found it absolutely adorable and amazing, and the blue is so much nicer for the eyes. Like if you have headaches like me, it might help you actually not feeling those headaches, but oh, gorgeous. I want to reread it just to look at the pictures. It was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. It's a story about a child who is called a snow child because she's always cold, but not like, ooh, I'm cold, but like she's physically cold, and she doesn't really belong to the vibes of the village she lives in and to the life she has. And she has a special bond with an icy dragon, with an ice dragon, and beautiful, broke my heart. Beautiful, beautiful. You cannot see my eyes, can you? And now I'm gonna show you the book. I'm 30 pages in. The Invisible Life of Edith Levroux. I'm here, so I'm on page 142 out of 450, something like that. I'm enjoying it so far. So far, I really feel for Addie not being remembered by anyone. And I feel like she's right sometimes saying, if no one remembers you, how can you say that you're actually living a life? Because you don't leave tracks, you don't leave memories, no one remembers you. So is that a life not being remembered by anyone? And I feel for her so bad, but at the same time I hope it's not gonna be like this the entire book. Like if I'm just gonna feel for her the entire book but not leaving something more, I don't know. But so far I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to the rest. I'm actually reading the book while listening to the other book because my brain is like whatever. But yeah, so far so good. I don't have much to say. She's someone no one's remembered because she did some kind of pact with a god from the dark, a night god, someone you should never pray to. You should never pray after dark. So that's pretty much it for this. So did I read all the books I needed to read from the Wild TBR for February? Of course not. I think you know me. I had a good month overall, even if I'm not satisfied. It was a good month. Let me know what you've read recently, one of the last books you've read, if you enjoyed it or not, or one book you're planning on reading. I would like to know, just let me know. And if you've read any of the books I mentioned, let me know how you felt about them, how you feel about them. I will be curious to, you know, start a little conversation here, a bookish conversation. But yeah, wolves, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be a part of the pack. Talk to me in the comment section as usual. And until next time, take care, wolves. Bye.